Welcome to the Transformations Podcast. Here, guests and I will share our transformative experiences and will explore how to find excellence in life. I'm joined today by Dr. Luke G. And Dr. Luke, thank you for joining me on the Transformations Podcast.
You're welcome.
I read in one of your biographies, I think it was on the back of your book, The Tao of Jesus, that you co-wrote 30 years ago almost, which we'll talk more about later. But it said you're a Daoist priest. And I know you come from Taiwan. So I'm going to ask, did that training and study come from Taiwan or when you came here to the US?
From Taiwan since I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. My first Daoist encounter is when I was 15. Yeah, I was in high school, and then my home is about like 1 hour bus ride from my high school. So I have to get the permission of my mother to live near the campus. Otherwise, I waste 2 hours a day per day on the bus. And then, but I don't have a lot of money, so I try to find some place to stay a little bit away from the campus. It's about like 1 mile from campus into the mountain area. Yeah, that's called the Yangmingshan. It's a very famous mountain in Taipei, Yangming Mountain. And then I just kind of looking for that. Just go into the mountain hill, and I see the kind of waterfall, and I hear the voice of the water running through the stream, and I just like that because it's all like the rice field, and then grass, and then hardly have anybody there. And then I walk into that remote area, find there's a kind of like sort of like hut. And I went into there to ask, and then there's an old man there. And I say, oh, I'm a student, and I accidentally come into this area looking for a place I can stay. And he looked at me and say, are you a high school student? I said, yes. He looked at me like 5 minutes from the top to feet, and he said, you have very good energy. Okay, you can stay with me.
Wow.
And then I realized, whoa, this old guy is, later on I realized, this old guy is a Daoist hermit. He lived in that mountain for 30-some years, lived very simple life there. We don't have a modern toilet at all. We don't have the modern bathroom at all. We have to take a bath in the river. We
Must
have
be
to use
cold.
bathroom, very, very simple bathroom. Run the things into the water, into the river water. Sorry about that. That was almost 50 years ago. So, but he really teach me a lot of things. Number one, he teach me about the energies around our environment, because I live there, and then very quiet. I just go to school and then go back to there without a lot of social interaction. Just him and me, and they eat very little because I'm poor student, don't have a lot of money. And then he just teach me, say, you see, the water is running there, and then they have a lot of energy there. Besides, the water can offer us to drink. I say, okay, water you have energy. Now, then how can we use that water energy? Then he teach me how to looking for the source of the water. how they come from. So we have to trace the creek into the mountain area, find the original kind of sort of spring of the creek, and then just sit and meditate. And he say, now focus on that the spring come out of that mountain hole, and then use your mind power to draw a circle and focus on that place, and then say a prayer and invite the energy into your kidney area. Kidney, not your third eyes or something, because kidney has something related to water. So the water energy should go into the kidney first before spreads out in the body. Wow, that was my first lesson about woohoo, we can draw the energy from nature into the body. Yeah, I tried a few times and then I realized it's true. I can really get those energy into my body, and my body the temperature can cool down very quick because the water energy in there. And then I realized my mind is much clearer with that kind of energy inside my body. So later on, I tried it for a period of time. And later on, I realized, wow, I developed the ability of photograph memory just because of that exercise. And then so he teaching me a lot of other things, like how to draw the energy from the sun, how to draw the energy from tree, how to draw the energy from rocks, those things. And then he teach me about basic Qigong and Tai Chi and martial arts.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when I was only 15 years old. And
I
then,
always imagine that reading all the books and watching the movies that every time I went to the woods, I'd find a hermit who knew all of those things. You were so
there
lucky.
you go.
It was your destiny.
Yeah, yeah. And then I have a lot of Daoist teacher along the time now from my high school to university. But the last my master was amazing. Before I left I followed him about I think quite close to 10 years before I came to United States for my PhD program.
Hmm.
He was a 79 years old guy. You saw the picture of that guy, and then I sent a picture. I was his the first few of the disciples. All right. One day, I remember it's Chinese New Year in 1979. We were meditate, and he was 79 years old. But when he sit down, he can sit there 1 hour, 2 hours without any problem. A lot of my classmates will come on, only sit 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And then, but I'm kind of exceptional because of my trainings in high school. I can sit there for a long time. So every time it's me and him sit there for more than 1 hour or even 90 minutes. But that day was so strange. When we were quietly sit there, nobody there, suddenly he was crying loudly. 79 years old man suddenly cried, howling. And then I was kind of shocked. I said, teacher, are you okay? And then he said, no. Go downstairs, get a pen and paper. Let me write down something. So I get a paper and then pen, and then get another classmate attention. So two of us move a table to the meditation hall. And he was writing down so-called 皇告. Huanggao is a mantra you chant to the God.
Mm.
But this is not just regular God, it's the highest God in the Chinese theological system. But it's mantra. You chant a mantra, the energy can somehow, if we are sincere enough, the energy can reach very, very high of multi-dimension universe, put this way. Okay. So he just say the end of world is close. It's going to have so many disaster, and so many people are going to die. We're going to go through very hard time on this earth, earthquake, global warmings, and uh, warfares, all kind of stuff. So copy this one and ask people to start doing the chanting.
Wow.
And at that time, I was only 20, 25 years old, not even 25 yet. I don't understand what's going on. But I can feel the heart of him. He's not a person who care about himself or care about his family, care about his social, political achievement. His heart is, he embraced the human destiny into his heart.
Wow.
The human suffering is his suffering. The destiny of humankind on this earth is his ultimate concern. And that touched me and changed my life.
Wow.
52 years already.
What was his name?
His second name is Li Yujie. Li Yujie, but his Daoist name is Li Jichu. He is the founder of Tiendi Jiao.
And that's
Tiendi,
the God of Universe sect. Is
yeah,
that the one?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the church of the law of the universe was founded by him. But it's like maybe 2 years after my meditation training, the first time I made the training with him. 2 years later, we have the 50 days meditation training. That's 24 hours. Living in the monastery,
Wow.
have to meditate without going to sacred world for 55 days. I'm sorry, 55 days. Every
Mm-hmm.
day, meditate 4 times, early morning, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and then 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. 4 times a day. Each day you can sit like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through that training, 8 hours a day, meditation for 5 days. And then I know one thing is so obvious, not physically, also psychologically and mentally. Totally transformed, just like the title of this program. I'm a different
Transformation.
person. And then I'm no longer just a human being, put this way.
Yeah.
At least there's somebody on the top of my head, kind of like have a fish paw on my head. If I go out of the trail, that fish paw will peel, kind of like keep reeling in, say, hey, hey, what are you doing? You have the job to do on this earth. So even though I have been in the United States 35 years, and then separating from my monastery in Taiwan so long, but I never departed from my past just because of that experience, that training.
Was the meditation, did it include mantras or just clearing the mind, or was it like mindfulness? Could you describe the meditation practice?
Oh, the meditation is different. Yeah, in the beginning, it's kind of like a mindfulness meditation. That's very important. Quiet breathing, mindfulness meditation, and then, but there's four further exercise, more than mindfulness meditation. Um, for this years, according to my sort of like creation, I combine the mindfulness meditation and then circulation of the energy among the different energy channel in the body to a very higher state of the meditation, which is passed to us by my master, is allow the energy of the divine come into you.
Hmm.
So all the mindfulness meditation training, microcosmic or macrocosmic circulation of the energy is kind of like a preparation. Open the energy channel of our body, mind, even our the gate of our divine in the top, on the top of our head, to allow the energy of the divine come in to help
Hmm.
us. When I was meditated for 55 days, up probably after 25 days, I can feel that. It's some kind of sort of like somebody pour the water into your head and just keep pouring that into your head. And then if we open that enough, you can feel the energy come in into your head and then going down to your third eyes, going down to your throat, going down to your heart, and then permeate into your whole body. That kind
So
of experience.
into the crown chakra or the
Yeah, from
Bai.
crown chakra all the way to bubbling well.
Yeah. Wow.
And then, so I can obviously say that, and then quite sure to say that after probably 30 days, I really built up the chi ball in my abdomen area.
Wow.
So the way I breathing is different since that moment. Is I breathe from not from my chest anymore, from my belly and even from my heel because
Wow.
my breathing is. I feel like after I establish that inner put this way inner meditation relate to, I don't know how to say that, the organ. Okay, put this way, some of the different kind of organ there, I can connect to the energy of the mothers, energy of the celestial stars, energy of the divine source. Very, very easy.
Hmm.
Give you an example. We went to Thai Buddhist temple, right? Meditation before. I can
Mm-hmm.
sit there and just close my eyes, say a prayer, and I can feel the energy of the Buddha on that meditation hall just come to me.
Wow.
Yeah, and I go to church to give a sermon to the brother and sister of the Christian church. I pray to Jesus, or go to the Catholic church, say a prayer to the saints around the church. I can feel the same thing.
Wow.
Different vibration, but the same kind of experience is we can connect to them. And they are willing to connect with us too. They want us to be aware that and then to do the job, to be the agent of them in this on this earth,
Mm-hmm.
to help them to do the work.
Yeah, one thing I know about you and respect about you is that you and I have gone to, you have taken me to the Thai Buddhist temple and to the Chinese Jinyan esoteric Buddhist temple,
Yeah,
and both different. And you're a Taoist priest and you go to church and you wrote a book about Jesus. And looking at the bookshelf behind you, there's a book about Jesus next and one about Christianity. And next to that is a book on Islam.
yeah,
Um, And what I'd like to get into in a moment is interreligious dialogues you're teaching at the universities to bring all of these philosophies and belief systems together as one. But I still want to touch a little bit more on what we've been talking about.
good.
Um, the 20 words mantra that you gave me a copy of is also from the same master that you were talking about,
From my master's teacher,
master's teacher.
his teacher when he was in China as a young man,
Mm.
his teacher passed that called the 20 words mantra to him. And so that is the mantra we also use a lot. But that mantra basically is for healing,
Mm.
healing, and then for virtue cultivation, because those 20 words are related to virtues. Yeah. But then my master monk give to us the mantra is more connect to the higher round of universe, the energy of the higher round of universe.
Hmm.
But every master have a different talents,
Right.
different gift, and they give us some kind of. I always use this analogy. This somehow kind of like give us a telephone number, and then we can dial the number through the chanting meditation, and then we can connect to the other side and have a connection with them and get connect with them. Once we our training, body, mind, spiritual training hit a certain point, I call that point is converging point. Converging point. Then we human energy, human being can connect to the divine literally. It's not just through the prayer or imagination or wishful thinking. It's a literally really connect with them and can feel the connection and can feel there's words, there's instruction, there's intellectual insight also come through those channels. So then I realized, oh, like a St. Paul in the Bible say, oh, I didn't write those things. What I wrote is Holy Spirit hold my hand to write down that. We call the
Mm.
sacred writing. Okay, sacred writing. Okay, I understand that. And then the Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, has same kind of experience when he was in the meditation cave, right? And he heard the voice, the Gabriel, the angel Gabriel say, recite, recite, recite. And he said, recite what? And then he's just recite, meditate, recite, and then the voice just come to it, and then he recite that, and then later on, according to the tradition, say that was the original source of the Bible, of the Islam Quran, and Buddhist sutras. Somehow, some of them also like come from that. For instance, I would say that the Tibetan Book of the Dead,
Hmm.
that is not human writings. That is, that is somebody can connect with the experience in the process and go to that process in some ways, journey through the process, and then through meditation, journey through a process, and then write it down.
Mm.
Yeah, so we have so many books like this, Dao De Jing, same thing. I don't treat them just as a human philosophical, scriptural, ethical philosophy. Some of them do come from, according to my experience, come from the divine inspiration.
I
So
would.
that's why my attitude is respect all the religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they all have their divine sources and try to teach it to different people in different geographical areas through human history. But they have the same kind of mission is to try to help human being to awake to other higher round of higher round dimension of the universe. Don't just stuck in the earthly viewpoint about
Mm.
the universe. That's so limit.
It's almost like you have to break the cycle of karma. You have to connect with the divine,
Yeah,
learn from the divine, and
yeah,
somehow transcend the limits of being human and being in this three-dimensional world.
yeah, yeah. Definitely good, good conclusion. Thank you. You
You're
are so
welcome.
smart.
I quote. I just copy wrote that.
You got
Wow.
it.
So
You got it.
I have a belief um, that all of the great teachers through time are
Just
just are reincarnations of the same spirit energy or same teacher, like Buddha and Jesus, and we could say Babaji in India, um, maybe Lao Tzu. They just come at different time periods and appear in different cultures because the earth has so many cultures and peoples and languages and understandings that in order for a lesson to be taught and received and accepted, it has to be, I think generally, it has to be given in a language and in a context that the people of a religion or belief system will connect with so it can resonate with them. So for the people of the Middle East, Jesus, his teaching, the way he looked, his language at that time period resonated with them. You know, the teachings of Buddha, his look, his appearance, his language resonated in
that.
India. And then,
That's very good interpretation, and this kind of interpretation will help with the um, improve the religion's relationship.
yeah,
Um, I agree with that half of them, but according to my understanding, okay, and because I have so many book here, the sacred book here, um, every founder of the world religion has their lineage in the spiritual realm.
mm-hmm,
They have a lineage. So, in other words, they have their spiritual master, grandmaster, all the way, their ancestor, all the way, traced to the, um, put this way, God's realm, if I can
mm-hmm,
use that term, the realm of the gods. So, we have a tendency to think one everything comes from one. But as a matter of fact, according to my master teaching and the divine paper I have, is since the beginning before the Big Bang,
yeah,
there's a multiple multiple God-like figure. Put this way, it's the God clan, clan of the God.
yeah,
All right, and they all exist before even the Big Bang happened, and so they have their individual lineage to pass on,
mm-hmm,
and also their association to the human realm. So some of them have a connection with India, and then they will send the people to India to help them. Some of them to the Middle East, some of them to the India, to the China, Japan. Don't At this point, I don't want to use, if I use the words wrong, monism. Monism. I don't want to use monism to draw the conclusion about that.
Right.
I would say always, just like on the earth, we experience that it's biodiversity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we have diversity of the race, and then so I would say, even in the highest universe, there's diversity of the sacred beings there.
I think that makes sense to me, especially when you read things in the Christian Bible that says, you know, don't worship false gods. There's no God higher than me. I'm the highest among the gods. That means the Bible is saying there are many gods,
Oh
not
yeah,
just not
yeah,
just quote unquote God. You
yeah,
know, there are many.
yeah,
And how can there be many if there's only one creator? And it never made sense to me as a kid.
yeah,
So, I just kind of dismissed the whole thing. And,
yeah. You
but,
got
but,
Bible so interesting. In my
right.
class, I show those messages to my students, especially if they come from the background of Christianity or Catholicism. Even in the book, what's that book of Moses or Exodus?
Mm,
Exodus, God say, "Don't let me hear the name of the gods of other gods on
right,
your lips."
right.
Okay,
Other gods, right,
other gods. Don't mention about the name of the other gods. Okay, I am the only one.
right. So who's Brahman and Shiva? Are they the other gods? Or is
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
there's so many. The pantheon of gods in Greek culture is massive, and also in Chinese culture, there's thousands of gods. I
oh
mean,
yeah, yeah,
unbelievable. I think most are like patron saints, not really
yeah,
gods, you know. Um, but every culture has their gods. I think they're all on equal footing, really. It's just which culture are you coming from?
yeah.
And that's connect. The different gods are connecting the different cultures
There you
up,
go.
up to the same realm, where
Yeah.
there's a round table, King Arthur and the round table of the gods clans. I think
Oh
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah. You know the very interesting. We say the heaven. Buddhism have a Western paradise. That's for Buddhists to go after they die.
Hmm.
So when people tell us their witness in the Western paradise of Buddha's realm, they see the Buddha, they see all the saints, they see all the arrowheads. But if a Christian and Christians went to heaven, or Catholicism, Catholic went to the heaven, they see the Trinity, they meet the Jesus, they see the
Right.
Peter. So it tells us, oh, maybe divine wrong is also have a geographically division there. Sorry, my language. There's a geographical division there. Some area is for Buddhism, some area is Catholic, some area for Islam, some area for Daoism. But they are arguing, say, my heaven is the only heaven.
That's right.
Otherwise, you go to hell.
I read a very interesting study. I can't remember the name of it, but if I do, I'll put it in the show notes here to the podcast. A very interesting study where they used hypnosis to put different people under hypnosis and led them uh, to the spirit realm to see who they would see there,
Yeah.
right? And they said everybody but one person saw Jesus or Moses or God, and the hypnotist this was done in a lab at a university, was trying to see if everybody would see the same thing if hypnotized and led that way. And one participant did not. He did not see anything during that hypnotic suggestion. And afterward, they couldn't figure out why. There's one. Everybody saw the same thing. One person didn't see anything, and they looked at his form that he filled out, and it said he was Muslim. So there's no way he would see Jesus because he doesn't believe in Jesus. So he doesn't believe Jesus is God. Therefore, Jesus would not be the leader in heaven. He is just another prophet. And
Yeah,
that was very interesting
yeah,
that um, our thoughts form. There's so many stories, hundreds of thousands of near-death experiences, and people are seeing what their belief system, religious belief system has been, inculcated into their mind, into their belief
yeah,
systems. So
yeah.
maybe it's all the same, but we see different things based on what our spiritual training is.
Oh
It's
yeah, I agree with you 100%. Um, our even our spiritual experience about divine figure somehow is the manifestation of our belief system, our practice, and our spiritual paths associated to.
hmm
So those image is not wrong, but somehow there's a lot of culture, a personal background involved in the person in that. So that's why I like one practice. I also practice that is you cannot hold those image as literally true
right.
because there's a projection from yourself. Just let it go. Experience that very good and let it go and keep going because maybe other image will come out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And humans wrote the Bible, humans wrote the Koran,
So,
So we're writing it from the writers are just like the writers of history are writing about events from their perspective, not from an outside perspective
oh
looking
yeah.
in. So, yeah, very interesting. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it's interesting that I was raised as an Episcopalian in my family, and I never felt touched, in church or singing the hymns or repeating back the sermon or anything. But I've always been felt touched by and resonate with um, Buddhism and Daoism. And to me, as an outsider of the Asian culture, um, it's the same thing. They're just two different parts of a spiritual path um, that resonate with me. And I wonder if you could highlight um, a little bit of the similarities and differences between Buddhism and Taoism.
Um, Before I answer this question, can I add some notes to your experience about
Please
that
do.
come from the Episcopalian background? I was raised by three religion and philosophy: Daoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism.
Ah,
Christianity was never very important components of my life, my upbringing, because at that time, Taiwan is only out of the 32 million people in Taiwan, only like 5% people are Christians, only 5%. So we know Christians celebrate Christmas or those singing, but that's not very important part of that society. All right, until I was in my senior year, and then I met my daughter's mother. After we dated for 2 years, and she told me, say, I'm a Christian, a very devout Christian, and I come from Christian family. So, but I like you, all right? But if we want to continue our relation, you have to be baptized.
Wow.
What?
That's quite a request and
Yeah,
statement.
yeah. Otherwise,
Demand, really.
sorry, I cannot continue with you.
Huh.
I like you a lot. So I say, okay, you are cute, smart, beautiful, and then Christianity has a lot of impact on the Western culture, not in the Asian culture. But my major is philosophy. I say I'm open to it. So do you know what? I moved into the dormitory of the Christian brothers on the campus. I moved in,
Oh my goodness.
tell them, say, I want to learn about Christianity. Can I just move in, give me a bed there, and then I will follow you guys' instruction to learn the Christianity? So I really moved in, live in the dormitory of the Christian brothers for 3 years.
Wow.
And every morning, prayer, do the prayer. Every morning, every night, do the prayer before go to bed. Every week, 5 meetings, study Bible for about 1 year.
Hmm.
And then I have the whole kind of question. Just like you mentioned that,
Right.
if I open the Bible from the page 1 to page 15 or 20, I have like 30, 40, 50 philosophical questions. I have to
Yes.
find the answer. So I always ask the ministers, elders about those things. They kind of get a headache about me. They finally say, you have too big heads, and that is the obstacle for your spiritual development. I say, what? I have a big head and an intellectual head and became an obstacle of my spiritual life? I don't think so. And they just say one thing. They say, you have to keep out that thinking and get the Holy Spirit into you.
Mm.
Then your way of thinking and understanding about Christianity and Bible differently. And you see, at that time, I was the only senior year, a little bit kind of senior year to graduate school. Yeah. So I said, baptism? I saw the baptism a lot. Oh, you put the people's head into the water, and then they will think differently. I think I was thinking, I didn't tell them that. I was thinking, I take shower 3 times a day. I wash my head. I don't believe that. But I'm kind of like also curious. Out of curiosity and respect, I said, okay, I would accept the baptism. They put the baptism stop there. I'm the only one they baptize.
Mm.
They have normally only one minister or priest. At that day, they have 5 of them there.
Because you were a heathen. They needed to save your soul.
This is a very difficult song. So they have 5 of them there. Try to have it
Back up.
the hell. And I look around, like 60 people, 60 brothers and sisters sit on the bench and singing prayer for me. And then 5 priests from different church were there. And I'm the only one baptized. Wow.
I think it was an exorcism, not a baptism. They had to round up all the priests in Taiwan.
Miracle happened. Do you know what?
Okay.
They put my head into the water. And then when my head out of water, I really experienced the saying in the Gospel of John. When Jesus was baptized by his teacher, John Baptism, the heaven was open, and
Wow.
Holy Spirit come down to this, and I have exactly
That's amazing.
the light, a light, so strong light and energy come to my head, open my mind. And then so interesting is I was there. I have been in the church by that time 1 year. I study Bible a lot, and then every day attend that. So I know Bible a little bit. But after that baptism, they asked me, say, "How about you say a prayer?" The words of Bible just come to my mind, come to my mouth without thinking. It's kind of like
Wow.
was Baptist. I was a minister or the priest in the church for 30 years.
Like a trance, like it was coming through you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Channeling.
channeling in. And then I say the prayer. They was surprised. They say, "My God, how can you recite so many messages from Bible?" I say, "I don't know. Probably it's the water. Water did something to me." But what I try to say is, all right, that's why I never denied the Christian church
Yeah.
about their experience in called the second life. Second life. Okay. The president, George W. Bush, mentioned about that. Have a second life. Okay.
Mm.
That I believe that I can understand.
Oh, they call it born again.
Born again. Yes.
Yeah.
Born again. Second life. Yeah. I can understand that. I can understand if people go through that process of that ritual and do have that experience, they do experience something. And that experience will transform their life. But by the way, I want to make notes is after that, I do believe that Christianity is a path to many people. That's why I write my thesis, my book. Half of them is about Christianity. But because my previous practice, my experience before I was baptized as a Christian, I know the Daoists have a path too.
Mm-hmm.
And I practiced Buddhism for years. I know that's a path, but it's different paths, different energy experience, and different inspiration. So I say, so good. There's so many paths there. Depends on your personality, your cultural background, your needs,
Mm.
and it can also help you. Okay, so why can I be called an exclusive viewpoint and then say only one way? So today I'm going to Christian church to worship or to do the prayer. Jesus come in or the saints energy come in to help me. Next Saturday or Sunday, I was in the Buddhist temple, and Buddha or Buddhist saints helped me. And next one, I practice Tai Chi and meditation. Taoist place, Taoist Holy Spirit, Taoist gods or um, saints help me. Wow! So I always say, I'm so lucky. I hit the jackpot.
You hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
so
I have a question about the jackpot.
right. I have so many help me. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, being a spiritual person, I want to improve myself, and with so many different help. No, I don't want to reject any one of them. Come on, keep coming. The more
Yeah.
the merrier,
You
please.
need Sufis to come in. You
Oh,
need more.
spiritual cookies.
Right. Well, I have a question about that because in my own practices as well, which relates back to the question about Taoism and Buddhism
Yeah,
similarities. And and now we'll talk about Christianity. So a lot of people, a lot of Catholics that I know, they call themselves shopping cart Catholics, meaning it's like you're at the grocery store and you pick and choose what you want to put in your cart. So they pick and choose what they want to believe from the Bible.
Yeah,
So is that, and then if you're picking and choosing from Christianity, and then I'm picking and choosing a couple things from Buddhism and a few Taoist things and a few other things, does that really, does that type of thing really get you forward on the path? Or because if they're all paths, but you're only picking and choosing what you want to believe, you might not be picking, things that are in the sell by date, you know, or the best by date, and the things that you're rejecting or choosing not to believe could be some of the most important scriptures or commentaries. So.
a very good question. Okay, that phenomena we call the religious synchronicity. That means you mix the religion together, you pick up the choose, and some teaching makes sense to you theoretically, or some practices fit into your personal personality, and
Mm-hmm.
use that. Um, I don't do that. My religion practice is not a shopping cart,
Shopping cart.
shopping cart style. I take it as a whole. Each religion tradition have their whole, their core there, and I take their core in theory, but I also realize their theoretical idea, ethical idea practice went through a long history of development. And so there's a lot of imprints of the culture, political, social background into those teachings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so every tradition, same thing, Buddhism, Daoism, same thing, all have the imprint of the history and culture, society, political background in them. So we have to learn how to somehow filter them out. Number one. Number two, that's my attitude is very important. I use deconstruction for my religious practice. Now you tell me something, I do the deconstruction work first.
Mm.
I analyze the historical background, political background, cultural background, social background, where that belief came from.
Right.
Then I put this way, after I go through that process, I somehow put 10 religions teaching, for instance, Bible, into maybe five different cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
What is the real core of that religion? What is the second one? What is the third level one? What is the fourth level one? What is the fifth level one?
Mm.
For instance, the original thing, I write a dissertation about that. Number one, original thing in the Catholic Church believe that's doctrine. Number one doctrine. Without Jesus to take away our original sin, we can never be saved.
Right.
But that's come from St. Augustine, the 5th century.
Right.
500 years after Jesus left the earth, right? How can we take 500 years later's teaching as the original, authentic?
Correct.
That's why I divide that. Well, okay, all right. I teach you religion. I tell the student you got to grab this kind of ability. All right. I say go back to historical Jesus. All right, a Jewish rabbi, Jesus of Nazareth. What is his? Love your neighbor like yourself. Love God with your heart, with your soul, with your spirit. You are the light of the world.
Mm.
Then help the marginalized people. Jesus helped the people, heal them, sick person, prostitute, bakers. People have a illness.
Hmm.
That's what we see in the Bible. And later on, develop some kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, St. Augustine, St. Thomas, those guys are genius, intellectuals, help them the development. But their teaching never hold ours, the first authentic original core there.
Yeah.
By the same principle, we apply that to Buddhism, Daoism, Islam. I do that. I recommend people, especially the interesting in study about religion, besides for personal belief or for personal reason, you want to study that intellectually. We can adopt deconstruction, then critical,
Hmm.
historical, critical thinking, and literature analysis. Those methods into study of the. I used to study Dao De Jing and Zhuangzi, even Confucianism in the internet. I don't hold that. I say, oh, Confucius say that. Confucius say that, and then it's right. Come on, the Confucius say, I never say that.
Right. I saw that meme. There's a picture of Confucius, and I never said any of that. Confucius say.
Yeah, Confucius. And then some people always say, oh, Dao De Jing say something in in the, the in the Facebook. I said, come on. I don't
Come on.
make a joke. I said, sir, I really interesting study about Dao De Jing. Can you tell me about which chapter this came from? Never can.
Right. Now you hold classes, online classes on the Dao De Jing discussion.
Yes.
If somebody wants to learn more about those classes, um, we can put a note in the show notes for them to
Sure.
get in touch with you. Yeah. I was going to ask you about Confucianism. Do you find, I know it's kind of, it's out of favor in China really these days, I believe. But do you think Confucianism, is that as a religion or a philosophy?
Basically, it's more like social philosophy.
Social philosophy,
Yeah,
yeah.
philosophy in relation to ethics. Confucianism doesn't really have a metaphysical foundation
Right,
as a religion, but they do have one. So here, there, they have they mention about the God. They mention about the heaven as kind of like a person, personal God. But that only just few of things. Um, Number one, Confucian lost the favor is because Cultural Revolution.
right,
Okay, because Chairman Mao used that for as a reason to vote uh, cultural revolution to get rid of those political leader at that time, which had threatened his political status in China.
right,
But I would say that Confucianism is a moral idealism, like a West, hold the virtue as the most important value being a human. So being a human to cultivate those virtues is very important. Being human, it's it's an actualization of the humanities through those virtues.
mhm,
In that perspective, I agree with that. Very important. But only virtue, you can change the world. Hey, that's why I call it moral idealism.
right,
So many people follow those teachings, but they are killed. For instance, during the Cultural Revolution, the national chairperson of the Communist Party, the second person next to Mao, is a scholar, is a Confucianist, doing what he can do to help the country to bounce back from that. But he died nowhere. Nobody knows where he died. He was in the hospital. His family, nobody knows where he is. Moral idealism is good for yourself. That's the basic. I agree with that. The human needs to that training to cultivate our just like a 20 words mantra you're familiar with. That's a virtue theory. That's good. That's basic. But is that good enough to help the society to transform, to help the political system to transform? Hey, take the things to Donald Trump, to Putin, uh, Kim Jong Un. Say, hey, come on, follow this kind of teaching. The whole world is going to be peaceful. All right.
We have to raise we have to raise the energetic consciousness of the world in order
Yeah.
to elevate.
Wow, I like that. I like the words. Come on, you are so good. Very precise and then insightful. Just
I'm just, I gotta hold the line. I gotta hold the level up with you. So,
oh,
with Dr. G.
that you are a doctor too. But I have a good time to talk to you always.
Yeah. So what you came to the United States to pursue a PhD and a master's, or did you have the master's already in Taiwan?
I have a first master in Taiwan is political science.
Oh, political science.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a Georgetown political science program,
Mm-hmm.
the number one political science program in Taiwan. As a matter of fact, my classmates at that time all became deputy of the secretary of a certain department or something. All right. Then I teach philosophy class in the army school for 5 years before
Wow.
I stayed. I stayed with the mission very because I mentioned that my monastery training for 55 days. And after that, there is a voice or there's some kind of reminder say, go to the United States.
Go to United States. You were a professor at colleges here in Pennsylvania. Where did you take your doctoral studies?
Yeah, Temple University.
Oh, in Philadelphia.
Religion.
Wonderful.
I went through the master degree program and then PhD program, and finally got my PhD and then teaching at Temple. But that's not good enough to support me. So I have to teach in so many schools. Community College
Yeah.
of Philadelphia, Community College of Montgomery, and then go here and there to give a lecture. But I enjoy that. So that's why that broadened my basis as a scholar. I teach all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of religion class. I teach all kind of basic or even high levels of philosophy class, and with English. So that's why
Right.
I speak English like George W. Bush now.
And you also teach meditation and Qigong and Tai Chi and Kung Fu.
Okay?
Yeah,
Because
which is great.
without the body mind training, only intellectual training, that's not good enough.
Right.
Okay.
You have to include the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, tomorrow we have a very good discussion. If you have time, I think I sent you the link now.
Is that the Tai Chi one or the Dao De Jing?
Tai Chi One
Tai Chi.
International Tai Chi teacher discussion tomorrow,
Okay.
2:30. Okay. And we talk about because Bob Klein likes to talk about the
Oh, the Snake Man.
Yeah, Snake Man like to talk about the thinking mind is different from the mind of the whole body.
Hmm.
He realized that he's very good. He
Yeah.
get to that level. So, but I always say I use the words differently. I use say cognitive mind, the different
Cognitive, yes.
cognitive mind and the consciousness of entire body and mind.
Yeah. That's more specific. Yeah.
I
To what you want to talk about.
understand. And Chinese, as a matter of fact, use a very good word called xin. But the Chinese thing is not just mind, also including heart.
Heart, mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So karma is sort of like combination of use modern words is left side brain and right side brain.
Mm. I like to make a distinction between the two words that are connected, mind body and body mind. I put body mind as one word and mind body with a hyphen because for me, mind body connection is psychosomatic is part of it. The mind can control. Not, I'm not saying psychosomatic in a negative way. I'm saying in a positive way. How the power of the mind can control the body, and the mind body. Well, the yi leads the chi, right? The mind leads the energy. So to me, that's mind body, and a body mind is the energy is filled and embraces the body, and the body has a mind of its own. The body mind. So the body is
Oh,
existing on its own. We have the parasympathetic nervous system,
yeah, there you
you
go.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we always think mind is on the top of our
Yeah.
up above our neck, inside our head. No, there is a mind, the conscious awareness
Consciousness.
inside every cells of our body.
You know, there German researchers. Again, I'll try and find the report I read um, maybe 15 years ago. German researchers came to the conclusion that consciousness is outside of the body; it's not in the mind. That the mind is like a receiver and the
Yeah,
signals for consciousness are outside the mind and then it goes into that receiver. So because people who have uh, debilitating strokes in their mind, you know, strokes, car accidents, they have parts of their brains have to be taken out from cancer where they can't remember things, you
yeah,
know, their name, their place, portions of their life. Under hypnosis they can remember all of it.
yeah,
So it's like you only need those portions of the brain to function and connect with your mind memory, which is in consciousness, when you're awake and dependent on it. But under hypnosis, the consciousness somehow just pulls into the brain anyway, and all those memories come back.
yeah. There you go.
Uh, and I think part of the article said that the consciousness is in a proton field outside the body in one of the aura streams, one of the aura bubbles.
Mm,
Um, and that's why consciousness can move along after physical death because it's not inside the brain.
yes, yes. I agree with that 100%. All right, our mind, our body is a
Receiver.
receivers. But we think that's the organ in charge. Now,
Mhm.
basically, yes, there is some kind of DNA there, and there's some kind of basic function there. We cannot deny that body might have a basic function there according to DNA as a human being. But if we develop our mind to a higher level, we can feel that our mind is a receptor, receive big pictures of the consciousness.
Hmm.
Personal, personal accumulation of the consciousness, knowledge, wisdom in the past, then collective consciousness that wisdom through the humankind. And then even go higher is collective wisdom and consciousness of higher wrong.
Yeah. Carl Jung looked into that with the
Yeah,
collective unconsciousness.
yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah,
but I think you're even just on a basic human felt experience you've described, receiving that energy into your head. That means the something, the energy, the knowledge, the wisdom, the consciousness is outside funneling into your body.
yes, externally. Yeah,
Hmm. You remember I introduced you to Dr. Michael Malazewski. We did
yeah,
a thing. So I was in Boston and Cambridge a few weeks ago, and he and a partner of his in his energy work sat on either side. We met up, sat on either side of me, and held my hands. And they both at the same time project energy. Right now, what happens is they were doing construction. I was at a VRBO, or one of the rental property, and they were doing construction on the patio we were sitting on. So there was loud saws cutting wood, jackhammering the concrete, all these things. Once we connected, I felt my hands tingling. Their hands were tingling. I thought it was from thoracic outlet syndrome, or I'm losing, pinched nerve or something. No. And then the tingling stopped and the sensation of their hands disappeared. So I don't feel anything. And we can hear all of the noise around us and we can talk to each other. But as soon as the energy connected, none of that mattered. Like we were in a different space. And what I experienced was exactly at the same time of what they experienced, which was somewhere in a field space in front of me, eyes closed, not the back of my eyelids and the color artifacts from the light, but like lava lamp colors merging but not blending. Like the blue stayed blue, the orange stayed orange, but they didn't make a purple or something. And I would see blue and then turquoise, and they would both say, I see blue and turquoise. Same time I'm seeing. And then orange. And I'd say, I have orange. She has orange. She has orange. She has blue. Then the green. Then the purple. And it was like seeing receiving this energy from a different time space, being in a different time space, because nothing in the very loud and noisy environment was affecting it, you see. And it was completely had its own thing, and it's like it was filling me up, going into my heart.
yeah,
uh, and then when the funnel like the glass was full or the vessel is full, I felt like I came out, and it's like the whole thing was done and the noise is so loud, and I'm like, gee, this is boring. I'm just sitting here holding people's hands in front of strangers cutting wood. And then they're like, okay, it's done. And they, like, a minute after I felt it stop, like I returned back here to this dimension.
yes,
Very interesting things.
yeah,
I Has to be from somewhere else. It can't be from here.
yeah.
It's impossible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree with you 100%. Um, in the annual Tai Chi event, I give a workshop. I always ask people to hold the hands by the end of,
Hmm.
my workshop, always two of them. So it's like 3 hours. And then they practice Qigong, Tai Chi, do the meditation and mantra, go through the whole thing. And then finally, I will ask them to hold the hands. And then in a circle. And then I ask them, okay, now you have all the energy. Send your loving energy through your right hands.
Yeah.
Pass to the people on your right hand. And
And it goes,
and your left hand also receiver accepting the energy come back to you. Most of them will say yes, they experience.
well, the human body is basically a bioelectric field,
Yeah, yeah,
So that bioelectricity is chi, it's consciousness, it's love. And by all holding hands, it's making a complete circuit, right? You're not breaking a circuit, so that could be quite powerful.
yeah,
I feel when I meditate as well that I'm in a different place. You hear the other people in the house moving around, but you don't perceive it the same way as you do if you're just sitting there. It's like you've gone someplace else.
yes, yes. You somehow distance from the secular world, distance from your body.
Right. Do you think that we've gone up uh, different levels of I don't know, different consciousness levels, going up toward Christ consciousness or God consciousness, or do you think it's like just we're just outside the body in that consciousness field
Uh,
when we're in those experiences? What do you
different,
think?
different level, different depends on our training and different
Mm-hmm.
our cultivation. It can be Jesus consciousness, can be cosmetic consciousness, can be consciousness of God.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But that's just the human terms try to describe that.
Our
Yeah,
terms.
it's the consciousness with which help us realize the human consciousness is limit. All right, we have to develop that. We have the potential to develop that, and we shouldn't start on these levels of consciousness.
Very interesting. I really thank you for all of your time today. I know you're quite busy always, and I'd love to have you on again to talk about martial arts and Tai Chi and Qigong. And today we talked about more of the conceptual, religious, philosophical things. So, love to have you on again soon,
Thank you.
and that'll be excellent. Thank you again, Dr. G.
Thank
Really appreciate it, brother.
you, Dr. Valley. Always, number one, it's my honor to be in your program. Number two, I really appreciate you allow me to talk. Yeah, because a lot of time people doesn't like to listen to me.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
have quite a bit to share, and I'm so pleased to have you on the Transformations podcast and help spread those teachings to all listeners around the world.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll do more. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Take care. Take care.
You too.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye bye.